Okay, Kah Shalom, Kah Halalim La Yahal Bashim Yashai Bashim Rakal Kudash, and double honors to the great Muslim apostles. Thought how thought Yahshai for giving me the strength and order to make this video. But as the title goes, we got to pray for the right programming. And what gave me the idea of the video is really from the previous camp session last Saturday that passed recently. Because today is Tuesday right now, currently. Yeah. So pretty much a few days ago, one of the bros mentioned about really we should pray for the right programming because of the fact that we know that ultimately we're all just vessels in order to execute the programs of which the Most High has put upon us. That's the thing. Two-thirds, that's pretty much, two-thirds is just executing the will of the Most High ultimately. Esau Edom is just executing the will of the Most High. The heathens are executing the will. Everything that's happening around us, of which we are aware of, and obviously pertaining to the scriptures too, we know that it's according to the will of the Most High, what He wants to happen. That's the thing. So, of course, just like the way the elect are also predestined from the beginning of time of who they are, and also who will actually be able to endure towards the end, which will be the elect, it's all according to the will of the Most High, ultimately. So, the reason for this video is really because ultimately what we should be praying for is to have that right programming, the right type of spirit upon us in order to endure to the end. Because many have gained the opportunity of grasping this truth, but there's also been many that have also fallen out of the truth as well. And that's why we've got to pray for the right programming, because if we had having the right programming would essentially mean that we'll be able to endure to the end as well, man. We will have the support of Yahweh Shai to the end. And we wouldn't betray him, that's the thing. We wouldn't be as a servant, which is wicked. So let me get my first precept. Okay. Gotta pray for that right programming, man. Because a vessel that doesn't have the right programming is pretty much lost. It's not profitable unto Yahweh Shai. So we'll keep praying for the support, man. That it be so that we all have the right programming. I'm talking about those of us who have received this truth, that we should pray that we've received the right programming, and we continue to run that right program, and to run the correct program, to continue to run the correct program as well. Let me get Deuteronomy 13 verse 39. Okay. All right. Let me see. Is it here? 13 verse 39. So this is the Most High speaking here. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is any that can deliver out of my hand. So of course, really, that's just pertaining to the Most High as well, man. He's the one who decides whether a certain baby out there receives judgment. He decides whether a certain vessel gets hit by a car. He decides how a vessel turns out, let's say later in their life, if they start to have, I don't know what the disease is caused, but, basically mutations in the face, which disfigures the face. It's all the Most High as well, man. He kills, he makes alive. It's his will, who he wants to do, what he wants to do with a certain vessel, a certain spirit on earth right now. So I'll read it again. Deuteronomy 32 verse 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So of course, you know, there's no subversion, I think that's the word, but there's no diverting away from the Most High's will. If the Most High says something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. That's the point. So that's really that there, you know. So we just gotta pray for, and pertaining to that too, that's also should help to maintain that cold spirit within brothers as well, because in the time to come where, you know, families would also receive judgments too from the Most High. The thing is, we gotta have that cold spirit where it's like, look, you know what they did in their past lives, and even in this life as well, they could have done a few things too. Well, really they are, because, you know, they're in their own wickedness as well, because they're not serving the Most High, they're not serving Yahweh Yahushua, they're not giving that reverence unto Yahweh Yahushua. So of course, whatever portion of judgment that's given unto them, that's the Most High's will ultimately, you know. Whatever happens, happens, and during Jacob's trouble, man. You just gotta be concerned about yourself, man. That's, at that point, you know, as the scriptures say, with fear and trembling, work out your own salvation, roughly paraphrasing. So, let me get another precepts as well. Because, of course, with vessels that don't have the right programming, they'll be deemed as 2/3 anyways. Because they're just going into wickedness, as well as again, man, it all goes back to that reverence, that deep respect to Yahweh Yahushua. If they ain't listening to them, then clearly they don't respect them. And I'm talking about 2/3 not respecting Yahweh Yahushua. So let me try and get this next precept right now. Proverbs 20 and 24. Proverbs 20 and 24. Salakia. So this is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24. But man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So of course, it all goes back to I remember this series that I was watching on Disney Plus, where it was called Loki, where you had Jonathan Majors, of which he said, I paved the road for you to be here. Because he had the name he had the title, He Who Remains, which you already know where that's rooted from, you know. Because obviously the Most High's name is Yahweh, which means he exists, he is to be. So that the character's name or title, He Who Remains, is obviously from the Most High that they're trying to get it from, you know. But the point is, the way the Most High paves the roads for each vessel, I mean, the same way that was described in the series, the Loki series, that thing. He Who Remains was paving the road for the two other Lokis, for those of you who have watched it. But for the two other characters, he paved the road for them, man. He gave them the opportunity to even be able to walk that road, to be able to meet him. The same way is the Most High's will to pave the road for each vessel upon earth right now. It's his will, whether a heathen does a certain thing to you that may be bad for your own experience building, you know, for brothers in this truth who may have gone through certain things. It's all the Most High's will to pave the road. That's the point. You know, certain things happen in our lives for a reason. He's the one who put it in our path so that we learn from it ultimately. And then once we learn from it, the point is to also grow from it as well. So of course, this is a gradual process, you know. But just man falleth 7 times, which means completion. Any amount of times of which just man falls, you just gotta get up, get back up, and you gotta keep going, man. Keep praying to the Most High, and of course, you have to keep enduring. And for better strength, man, to endure endure these tests as well. So, I'll read it once more. Because, it just goes down to the Most High. He paves the road. So Proverbs 20 verse 24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So of course, if you're walking a path of which you didn't create, the Most High created that path for you. How can you then understand your own path? That's the thing. You don't know how your life is going to end. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's all the Most High's will. So again, it all goes down to that paving of the road. I don't know. Actually, it will probably get copyright if I try to clip it in this video too. But, there was that scene in Loki. I think it was the last episode where he said he paved the road, man. It's the same way the Most High paved the road for our spirits to be here in this position right now. For me to be able to produce this video, for Akim to be able to watch this video, and obviously for all the brothers to be producing videos. And even the heathens as well, they have their own purpose too. That's the point. So it's all the Most High as well, ultimately. And of course, they can go. This can go. It can be good or bad. That's the thing. Bad in terms of certain situations where you don't want to endure, but you still got to go through it. But it's for your own learning's sake. That's why you have to go through it. And then good in terms of it may profit you. It may be like a blessing as well that the Most High puts in your path. Some support. In these times that are hard for Akim. The Most High puts that there in order to support you. So again, everything is of the Most High. That's why we have to pray for the right programming to have for Yahweh Yahushua to have mercy on us, and for the right programming to be put within our spirits, man, within these vessels. So let me get something else. Something else I was gonna get. Because there was also, and pertaining to the programming as well, the reason why we also need to pray for the right programming. And it also links to the previous precepts of Proverbs 20 verse 24 about man's goings are of the Lord. Whether good or bad, it's all the Most High as well. The Most High can make you do something of which you don't want to do, but then you still do it. Because the program is within that vessel. So you just gotta pray for strength, pray for the correct programming, man. That's pleasing unto Yahweh Yahushua. Because we can even get into 2 Samuel 11 verse 12. I mean 2 Samuel 11, chapter 11, and probably a portion of chapter 12 as well. I'll probably read a little bit of it. It's pretty much the story of David and Bathsheba. David had an eye for her, but Bathsheba was already married to Uriah the Hittite. So, and he sent him. I'm pretty much just summarizing it before I even read just a few precepts. But yeah, he sent him. King David sent Uriah, the husband of Bathsheba, to war to be on the front line. And he died, and obviously, David took her as a wife. But the Most High was not pleased with what David did there. But at the same time, though, the thing is, it was the programming he still put within it. It was just the path that David had to walk through, man. It also shows that the greatest of men, they also make mistakes too. And King David is an example of one. Another King Solomon, of course. David tried to fast, but let me actually just read. I'll probably read a few precepts, jump down a little, and read a few more. But let me see if it's the right chapter. I'll read a little bit. Yeah, still got time. Right. Oh, that's not even the right one. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for the chapter. 10. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably just read it in one go. Not everything, but when I hit the key part, then I'll probably move on to the key parts of the verses. I'm pretty much gonna just read, then skip to the point to get to the point. So, but obviously, Akim, in your spare time, you could always read it. 2 Samuel chapter 11 and also chapter 12 as well. You know, I gave a little bit of a summary before I even started to read it, which I will do right now. Some of it. So, look, let me. Lost the page again, but let me get it quickly. So this is 2 Samuel chapter 11 verse 1 onwards. Well, we'll skip down a few verses eventually, but let me read this. And it came to pass that after the years was expired, at the time when the kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel. And all Israel, so okay. You know, when two pages just clutched together. But anyway, let me read it once more. So 2 Samuel chapter 11 verse 1. And it came to pass that after the years was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel. And they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah, but David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass in an eveningtide that David arose from his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her. She came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness. And she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. And David sent Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. So, of course, you already know what's going on here. Basically, David spotted Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah the Hittite. And then, of course, he laid with her. And I think she's with child now. And then that's when you already know the planning began to basically slay Uriah in a slick way, which you understand when you read it as well. So verse 6 again. And David sent to Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. So like, you read verse 7 again. And when Uriah was come, so when he arrived unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. So obviously it was the time of battles. Verse 1, 2 Samuel chapter 11 verse 1 established that. And David said unto Uriah, Go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. I assume a mess of meat is like a group of meat. It's hard to see. A mess of meat, because that's what it sounds like. Let me just search up the scripture and then get to the root words. And I'll continue reading. Yeah, so basically, King David sent Uriah to his house in order to, from the way it sounds, in order to eat. So let me get David, 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 11 verse 8. Alright, so look here, I'm just about to get the root word for it. A mess of meat, you know.
Mass eighth. Mass eighth.
So that's the root word for mess, which means, let me get the outline of the biblical usage. So it says uprising, utterance, burden, portion, uplifting, utterance, oracle, portion, present, largus, gift, contribution. So in this context, a mess of meat is pretty much a portion of meat. It's pretty much a portion of meat, man, that King David gave to Uriah, you know. So obviously David had a plan here with him doing all of this, because later on he tried to get him drunk as well. But let me not spoil it, even though I already have. But let me continue. So 2 Samuel chapter 11 verse 8, and David said to Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed from the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king, so a portion of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. So Uriah didn't want to go to his house. So verse 10, 2 Samuel 11 verse 10, and when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah, camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thine house? So it's like you just came from a journey and then you don't want to rest in your house now. Verse 11, and Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing. So, Uriah was just in that battle-ready state, I guess. He was in that battle-ready state. So, he didn't want to go back to the house. Verse 12, and David said to Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at the even meaning evening, he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his lord, but went not down to his house. So obviously he went to the same area as his other lord. So obviously the master over Uriah, which I assume was Joab and the rest of them. So, and it came to pass in the morning that David wrote, a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, see ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. So you already know that's the rap. King David pretty much told Joab to put Uriah on the front line of the battle, and then so that he actually dies. So that was the intention, man. That was the intention. So let me just skip down ahead, because that was the key point, but I wanted to get to another key point as well. Yeah, so because the rest of it is really just a description of the battle that Joab was giving to David. And then let's see. Right, yeah. I'll read from verse 26. Because, as I said, the rest was just a description of, the battle, and then just confirmed that Uriah actually died from the battle. So, 2 Samuel 11, verse 26. And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the mourning was past, David sent and fed her to his house, and she became his wife and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord. You see, that was the next key part, man. Yeah, wasn't pleased with what David did. But as I said before in the beginning, or before I started reading the chapter, that it was just the program that the Most High put within him, man. That's it, the Most High's cold like that. Because the thing is, he can make even the greatest of men to commit a very heavy sin, but the Most High still had mercy upon him so that he wouldn't die. So of course, that shows, the balance there as well, man. The program is there, but the Most High still showed mercy as well. And the thing is, though there was mercy, David still had to suffer the consequence of having his son, the child born when he laid with Bathsheba, whilst Uriah was alive. The child born was to die, basically. That's essentially the consequence that David had to endure through, and that's why he fasted. I think it's mentioned that in 2 Samuel chapter 12, which is the following chapter, that he fasted, man. He fasted, because he had that grief and feeling of regret as well. That's after Nathan, one of the prophets, confronted him and saying with a parable, which was referred to him in that time, because if you read verse 12, I know this video is getting somewhat long, but if you read actually chapter 12, Nathan gives him a parable between a rich man and a poor man, and how a rich man used the resources of the poor man. But the point is, Nathan was referring to the rich man as him. That's the thing. Imagine, you could actually visualize it, man. Nathan just looking at King David right in the eye, man, directly, and saying, "Yep, the man in the parable, the rich man there, is referring to you." And of course, that would have calmed King David's anger. So, yeah, it's cold, man, the way it went. But the reason why I brought it out was because of the fact that we're all subject under the programming of the Most High. That's why I have to always pray for mercy, pray for strength, and to pray for the right programming ultimately, the correct programming ultimately. So that Yaratazar, the program we run, pleases the Most High while Yahweh Shai. So that, when the time comes where we're very close to the end, we're also worthy to gain that salvation, man, get into those chariots. Then yes, a done deal from there. You'll be as a faithful servant, man. We will be those faithful servants. So, again, we've got to just keep praying, brothers, fasting as well. Help to strengthen your prayers too, because, you're humbling your spirit. And let me see if there's any other preset I was going to get. But yeah, man, pertaining to, let me just bring this final precept. When you have the right programming, you're going to be that faithful servant, man, as I said before. So Matthew 25, verse 21. Verse 21. Yeah, so obviously this is ultimately what Yahushua is going to say to those who really endure to the end. So Matthew 25, verse 21, and those who have the right programming. Matthew 25, verse 21, his Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things, and I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord, which is the kingdom of Yahushua, man. You know, really, he's given us the truth, and obviously he's given us a role and a purpose within this truth as well, to spread it, and obviously to gather the elect, which is the ultimate purpose of what we're supposed to do. And of course, after ruling over those little things, Yahushua would then trust us even more to then rule over the things in his kingdom, which is rightfully so. And that's pertaining to a parable right there. So, you know, the parable of the talents. But you know, that's pretty much the main point, Akim. We just gotta keep praying for the right, correct programming, man. Yaharatazar, he has mercy on all of us. We'll keep going, we keep praying, we stay humble, and we pray for the correct programming within our spirits, man, within these vessels. Because we know we fall short, but we have to pray that we still have the right programs running within our spirits, man, in these vessels. So I'm gonna end it off there. And double honest agreements on apostles. For the strength in order to make this video as well. I say shalom, shalom.